I am architect Archana Agarwal. This video series is on site visit and site analysis by an architect. I will mainly be covering here the first time visit by an architect to a site where a building or multiple buildings are proposed to be constructed. The architect's role in the site visit is divided under three phases. That is, before visiting the site, during the site visit, and after the site visit. Before visiting the site, an architect needs to collect some data, study certain aspects, and prepare for the site visit. This is part 1 of the video series, where I will be covering what actions an architect needs to take before making a site visit. In part 2 of this video series, I will be explaining the actions to be taken during the site visit, including what to observe, what data to collect, and which pictures to take. In part 3, I will be covering the various points to be considered while doing the site analysis. Before visiting the site, an architect can collect a lot of data from the internet and from other sources. A preliminary study for acquainting oneself with the site conditions, surroundings, and the background not only apprises the architect but also prepares the architect for what information is required from the site, what requires to be carried along, and who should be included in the team visiting the site. Firstly, the site plan is collected from the client or the owner. This gives an idea of the location of the site, shape, and area of the site. If the client has carried out geotechnical survey, then this report provides information like type of soil, safe bearing capacity of the soil, and groundwater level. If topographical survey has been conducted by the client, then geographical data like latitude, longitude, altitude, and north direction can be obtained besides other data like contours, trees, existing structures, existing services lines which may be underground or on surface or overhead, and any other existing feature. However, if no such investigation has been carried out by the client, then an architect can obtain all this data easily from the internet. I will explain how to do this a bit later in this video. Internet is the biggest source of information. The data that can be collected from internet is location, orientation, size, boundary of the site, access to site and distance from the nearest airport or railway station, geographical and topographical data, trees and vegetation on site and surrounding the site, land use of the site from the land use map, data regarding the surrounding land or the buildings in the vicinity, type of soil from the geological maps, aerial photographs and maps from Google, historical maps if required, climate data, the development plan, and traffic patterns. Some examples of data mining from internet are shown later in this video. A lot more data can be obtained from the internet. Depending upon the location and nature of the project, the type of data required can be determined. Understanding of all this data is necessary before going to the site. An architect must read and study site-related and location-related information before proceeding for the site visit. First and foremost, the project requirements should be read carefully to understand the nature of the project. Design brief should be read meticulously to be in sync with the client's mind. Next, a Google study can be done about the place, location, climate, historical or cultural significance, flora and fauna, ecological diversity, political scene if required, general lifestyle, and economic condition. If the site falls under the purview of a smart city, then familiarization with the applicable norms is essential. If the project is part of any government scheme, then details of the scheme need to be studied. Reading news items related to the site or to the project makes the architect informed about the task ahead. Study of applicable statutory regulations is very important. Study of bylaws like FSI, ground coverage, height restriction, recreation ground, etc. give a fair idea to the designer on the configuration and massing of the proposed structures. Rules like aviation, heritage, CRZ, and highways are applicable depending upon the location of the site, and study of these regulations makes the architect aware of the development restrictions. Knowledge of other aspects like TDR, road widening, provision of amenity space, green belt, etc. also educates the architect on the additional restrictions to be catered to in the design. Study of the history of the site not only elucidates the historical background, but also provides information on any likely underground services lines or contamination of the land. And as such, architect may advise additional tests or investigations to be carried out. Study of sustainable practices like health and safety, tree cutting regulations, noise regulations, etc. is essential. In-depth study is required if it is a green building project. Further, the study of climate, microclimate, local materials, vernacular architecture, and seismic zone is important for an architect. With all this background study, the architect reaches the site well informed. All the data collected and the study done as per the above guidelines need to be documented properly. The features that need to be verified at site have to be listed down. Additional data required from the site should also be listed down. What activities have to be performed during the site visit should be noted down. If any survey has to be conducted, it should be planned beforehand. Questionnaires need to be prepared if people have to be interviewed. Listing of various actions to be taken during the site visit and preparing a methodology for the same helps in systematic approach and avoids multiple visits. Deciding on the team who should visit the site is again an important part of planning. A junior architect may accompany a senior architect to learn. Visit of civil engineer may be required to ascertain the type of foundation. A helper might be required to hold the measuring tape. Input of traffic and transportation engineer might be required for preparing the project report. Planning the team in advance will result into coordinated and complete analysis of the site. Weather report will help in planning the day and time of the visit, as well as in deciding what to carry and what to wear. Planning the journey is again very important, especially if the site visit involves air or rail travel. A list of things to carry planned in advance comes handy at the 11th hour. A suggestive list of items to carry to the site is given here. Notepad, sketchbook, pencils, pen, measuring tape, etc. should always be carried. If there is a requirement for measuring noise or vibration or any other parameter, then the corresponding equipment should be carried. A smartphone with GPS and camera is a boon. If required, a separate camera can also be carried. A laptop loaded with the data always helps for reference purpose. Besides, protective gear may be necessary depending on the climate and the site conditions. Google Maps provide very useful information related to the site. After locating the site on the Google map, the basic information like latitude, longitude, altitude, and orientation of the site with respect to the north direction can be obtained. There are multiple layers in Google Maps, like terrain and traffic. The traffic view shows the traffic pattern on various roads. The color codes for fast to slow moving traffic are given at the bottom of the screen. Live information on the traffic at different times of the day can be obtained. This traffic pattern is of Monday morning. As can be seen in front of the site, it's fast moving continuous traffic. This is the live traffic pattern on a Sunday evening. As can be seen, it's a medium traffic in front of the site. The imagery gives the 3D images as can be seen at the bottom of the screen. When the thumbnail is clicked, a blown up 3D image pops up on the screen. The street view shows the streets and the pathways. Google Earth can provide certain information which Google Maps cannot. Zoom to the location. This is the site and this is the railway station. We shall be seeing the 3D view while traveling from north to south. From this Google Earth real-time 3D view, it can be observed that the auto rickshaw traffic is quite high Also that there is encroachment on the site. So the architect can inform the client for taking appropriate action for vacating the site. Also, the architect is informed in advance what to expect when visiting the site. Next, let us explore the Measure tool on the Google Earth. There is a ruler icon on the left side of the screen. When this is clicked, a dialog box opens. By clicking at the corners of the site, a polygon can be made. On closing the polygon, the area as well as the perimeter of the site is displayed. Basic climate data can be obtained from the website of India Meteorological Department. Google Earth also has climate layer. There are many websites which give information on the weather and climate. The climate analysis can also be done on GIS. With this, I come to the end of part 1 of this video series. Subscribe to my channel to view more such informative videos. Thank you.